Why didn't you answer the question last night during the debate about who won the 2020 presidential election?
Well, look, here's the simple reason. The media is obsessed with talking about the election of 4 years ago. I'm focused on the election of 33 days from now because I want to throw Kamala Harris out of office and get back to common sense economic policies.
That is, of course, Republican nominee for the vice presidency, J.D. Vance, continuing to dodge answering the simplest question that's ever been asked, saying there that the simple reason is that the media's focused on it. Obviously, the media is focused on it because you're refusing to answer, and it's super suspicious, and you know that, and you know that we know that, and we know that you know that we know that, and everybody knows what's going on right here. It's super embarrassing that this is how adults, let alone nominees for the vice presidency, act, but that's what we've got as of a couple of days ago. Bear in mind, the reason he was asked that question at the rally was because of this back and forth at the actual debate, where Tim Walz had asked, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election, which, spoiler alert, he did. J.D. Vance then said, Tim, I'm focused on the future, which you are legally required to be lying when you say that. That's like a law of the universe. That's not actually what's going on when you say I'm focused on the future. And then he tries to talk about censorship or whatever, and Tim Walz said that's a damning non-answer. And it was, but it also wasn't the only non-answer. You saw it in the video, and because he didn't answer at the debate and he didn't answer at the rally, obviously people are gonna be continuing to pepper him with the question. The simple solution to all of this, of course, would be to just answer it, preferably truthfully. We're gonna get like half of that, but not the full thing. And even to get to the half, we have to turn to a video uploaded by the Good Liars. Take a look at this.
Who won the 2020 election?
We're gonna go to town hall.
Could you just answer, did Donald Trump win, yes or no?
Yes.
He did win?
Yep.
So will you concede? Will you concede? If your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
I really feel bad for you, man.
I just want to know, if your opponent gets more votes, will you concede?
Party. I love that. That's Jason Selvig of the Good Liars. And what's going on there, of course, is J.D. Vance knows that Donald Trump lost the election. He knows that. We have his text messages from after the election saying that all of the legal challenges to the results of the election were unpersuasive. There's just nothing there. He knew. And so you have reporter after reporter, and now Jason Selvig going up and asking him, like, can you just admit what we know you know, which is that Donald Trump lost? And he says to Jason Selvig, I feel sorry for you. And I think that's amazing. Now, obviously he's just trying to be an a-hole or whatever, but like he supposedly, if we believe what he's saying, feels sorry for a reporter asking a question, which is what reporters are supposed to do, and knowing that J.D. Vance is going to lie because he has to, because Donald Trump would flip his wig if he didn't lie. And you feel sorry for the reporter. Not for you, a guy who used to write books and go on the news and tell the truth about what was going on in the country, what Donald Trump was doing to conservatives. You feel sorry for the guy who can admit what has actually happened. I feel sorry for J.D. Vance. I mean, I know that he's in the middle of like a selling your soul type thing, so I guess I shouldn't feel too sorry, but that's just pathetic, and it's been pathetic now for quite a while.
Yeah, so the gaslighting, of course, what always is maddening to me. So Vance with this constant, oh, you guys are so obsessed with this. I mean, you guys won't let it go, right? So, well, there's two things about that. As you guys know, we're not the only one. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's obsessed by it. And it's not like he was obsessed by it for 2-3 years and like talked about it nonstop, but at least he's now let it go. No, he's still doing it at the rallies as we speak.
You want the most recent one from this week?
But the second thing I'm gonna tell you is even more important, but let's show you the Trump example right now.
We did great in 2016. A lot of people don't know we did much better in 2020. We won, we did win. It was a rigged election. It was a rigged election. You have to tell Kamala Harris, that's why I'm doing it again. If I thought I lost, I wouldn't be doing this again. You know where I'd be right now? On the beaches of Monte Carlo, maybe, or someplace.
Well, hard to get that image out of your head. Okay, please don't go to a beach and take a picture. All right, so now, look, Trump can't stop crying about it. He's a spoiled little baby who lost his toy, the American government. You've heard me talk about that. Now, the second point is more important, like, oh, you guys, this is just one of the issues in the campaign, but you guys are weirdly obsessed by it. No, this is not a normal issue. This is hey, we're about to have an election. The last time we had a presidential election like this, you guys lost and then tried to steal the election. So if you lose this time, we're worried you're going to start another riot and another fake elector scheme and another conspiracy to steal another election. So we're trying to make sure that we have a normal functioning democracy here. So we're asking you literally the simplest question in the world. If you lose, will you continue to try to cheat and steal and try to take the election by violence? And as Trump said, terminate the Constitution? Or are you gonna say, oh yeah, if we lose, no problem. Then we can move on. But both JD Vance and Donald Trump absolutely positively refuse to say that if they lose, they'll accept it. They're like, no way, nope. And as you saw in the motion that Jack Smith filed earlier this week, Trump had said before the election and told his staff, whether we win or lose, we're going to fight like hell. We're not gonna care if we lost, we're still gonna claim that we won. So that's the maniac that is your presidential candidate, JD Vance. So whether that maniac is going to accept the results of this election is monumentally important. I mean, the fact that your party put up this maniac again shows you that your party is in terrible, terrible shape. I mean, you guys hate America. You would rather have Trump win than us keep our democracy or our Constitution. So don't dismiss it like, oh, you guys are obsessed with this. What is this? A tiny little question around the edges of some minutia policy? No. Do you believe in the country or don't you? So don't gaslight us, you piece of crap, who thought that Donald Trump was Hitler like a minute ago, and who knows without any shadow of a doubt that he's lying and tried to cheat and destroy our democracy last time around. Now he's like, so what? Because I want to be famous and powerful and rich, I think Donald Trump should be able to destroy America. But you guys are making such a big deal out of it. Okay, Franny.
Yeah, I mean, it is the simplest of questions and it is of the utmost consequence. And everyone is right to focus on it. It truly does matter. But just like they gaslit, and JD Vance is great at this, gaslighting around abortion rights and controlling women's bodies, and how he didn't say all the reactionary, psycho, retrograde, Handmaid's Tale stuff that he has said, he's doing the same thing, but with the election. And honestly, most Americans, that's not enough. They don't want the drama. They don't want the drama of a whiner loser trying to steal an election. And they certainly want someone to be realistic with them. Hey, realistically, women are being told to wait until they're dying before they can get life-saving abortion care. Realistically, Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Can we just live in reality? Then you can fight on whatever terrain and you can say, look, we thought we had a case, but we didn't. But either way, Donald Trump fought valiantly. Like, meet us at a certain level of reality. But they're not even willing to do that. Here's my problem with the narrative as we are hurtling to the election. What if Donald Trump wins the election? But because there is massive misinformation campaigns, the election boards that have been seized by Republicans across this country, and especially in swing states like Georgia, finally do Donald Trump's bidding, throwing out ballots, registrations, on and on and on. And Democrats have legitimate claims to, gee, there seems like there might have been a little bit of interference here. What if there's, it gets moved to a state Supreme Court, or heaven forbid, like in 2000, up to the federal Supreme Court. All of this also sort of, I think, paves a way to say that if there are irregularities or if there is genuine voter suppression, that Democrats should also say nothing. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I hate that we are in this situation, because in a lot of states, it might look like Republicans might have learned the 2020 lesson and say, we're gonna preempt this. We're not gonna whine once we lose. We're gonna make sure that we win.
Yeah, I do think that it's laying the groundwork to make it a little bit harder for the Democrats to actually say or do anything, even if there is actually good cause. But I want to reassure you, Francesca, they're the Democrats. They wouldn't have said anything anyway. They'll just go along with it and hand over the Supreme Court, hand over the presidency.
Yeah, I'll just say one quick thing about that. So the Republicans' inability or unwillingness to be able to make distinctions between differences in degree is amazing. So what do I mean by that? Hillary Clinton, did she whine after the 2016 election? Definitely. Did she blame everyone else? Yes, we know because she partly blamed us. And she blamed Bernie Sanders and Russia and the weather, etc., right? But did she then come up with a whole slate of fake electors, have a violent mob attack the Capitol so that they could delay the certification so that her party can bring in the fake electors and steal an election that she knows she lost? No, she was complaining about why she lost. She never said she didn't lose. She never tried to rig the election or pretend that she had more votes or electoral college votes than Donald Trump. She didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the other guy did all the things that I listed. And they're like, oh, that's the same thing. Well, look, guys, if you can't tell that that's not the same thing, I can't ever convince you of anything because I'm gonna say something super rude, but you don't have the intellect to be able to understand the simplest of concepts. Whining about a loss is not the same thing as organizing a criminal conspiracy. And by the way, many people have been arrested, including his fake electors in the swing states. One quick thing, as an aside here, did you know Trump had real electors that refused to go along with this plot? That's why they had to bring in the fake electors. And those real Trump electors were right. You get arrested if you sign fraudulent papers claiming Trump won when you know he didn't win. And that's why those guys got arrested. So that's a criminal conspiracy. If you can't understand the difference between that and, God, it's the Russians' fault and Bernie's fault, then you just can't understand anything.
Yeah, it did take her like hours to concede though. Like it was, I think maybe after midnight, maybe not quite after midnight, but it was like almost midnight.
Yeah, she conceded on the same day. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's went on. And by the way, Donald Trump had every right to ask for recounts and hand recounts and all the things that he asked for. And they all confirmed that he lost. Every Republican in the swing states confirmed he lost. Even his real electors confirmed he lost.
Yeah.
But if you still say no, but we should have tried to rig it anyway, and like Donald Trump said, terminate the Constitution so they could put him back in, then you don't like this country. You want to live under authoritarian rule, there's a lot of countries for you, but it's not America.
Well, as Anna has been pointing out, he's pretty clear about that. He says he's post-liberal and not like, oh, the libs, like liberalism, the idea that people matter, there should be a vote, that sort of thing. I'm just gonna briefly, because he said to Jason Selvig, who seems like a really good guy, I feel sorry for you. He made it personal, so I'm gonna make it personal. And maybe this is naive of me, maybe I'll seem really corny to say this, but like, I don't understand the lying. I don't, like I know that you get paid. Like I know that you end up with like a really nice car and a really nice kitchen or whatever, like really nice backsplash because you tell these massively beneficial lies for your side. But like when JD Vance does the super transparent thing on the debate stage, like every single person knows exactly what he's doing. Some of them want him to do it, but they still know what he's doing. And then he's asked at the rally or whatever. Like I automatically go to not like what do swing voters in Pennsylvania think? I think, what does Usha think? Like when his kids someday see that, what do they think? Like maybe they're close to him and so they put blinders on or something. But like I imagine if I stood in front of the entire country and told a vicious lie with a stupid little awkward look on my face because I know that that's what I'm doing. And my daughter saw that someday. There's no sedan nice enough to justify that, to make me feel better about how deeply to the core of your being embarrassing that is. He has to go back after that debate, really fast. After that debate, he meets up with his wife. His wife looks him in the face, and she seems like a lovely person, so she knows what's going on there. Like, does he see the lessening of the respect from what he's doing? And maybe the lie compared to linking up with Donald Trump, maybe that doesn't even register anymore. But anyway, sorry, Francesca. It's just I don't get how these people can live with themselves.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I will just say that as we've traced the pattern of the right and specifically the MAGA right over the last 8 years, it really comes back down to every accusation is a confession. And there, JD Vance looked Jason Selvig right in the eye. And Jason, by the way, I love how he wields his like 6'5"-ness or however the hell tall he is, which I believe is the only people who can really like interview like MAGA or like very tall white men who look like they belong. But he looked at him and he's like, man, I feel sorry for you. And you had it right the first time. He's talking to himself. Every accusation is a confession. This man has to live with his own hypocrisy every single waking moment in this clawing bucket of crabs, effort to what? Be the next neck in the noose of Donald Trump when he refuses to leave office? God bless.
Yeah, it's super last thing. If a family member or a friend, a really close friend, went from telling me in private, oh, of course Trump's near borderline Hitler, and he was a terrible guy and obviously still tried to steal the election, and then decides that it's gonna be personally advantageous to him, and then he goes out in public and starts telling everybody how great Donald Trump is and how we should elect him and put him back in charge. It's not a close call. I would disown them immediately, not because they're supporting Trump, but because they apparently have no moral character at all. And I don't wanna be associated with people that are that, that shallow, that much of a careerist, that they think.
But enough about Jimmy Dore.
Well, that actually did happen. We did disown him. But anyway, but seriously, like for people who care so much about money, power, and fame and their own stupid career, that they would do things that malicious. And that's why, look, I get it. MAGA doesn't know it. A lot of independents don't pay too much attention to politics. But for people who know it, people like JD Vance, like that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're gonna talk about her later. She's crazier, maybe, not maybe, definitely. But at least she's genuine. Like she really believes these things. But guys like JD Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, they don't believe it at all. And so when I see them acting in front of the camera like that, it sickens me. It makes me want to vomit.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.